Hello, welcome to Digitslaw. Digitslaw is the all-in-one software for your law firm. Here, I'm going to show you how to manage your law practice, specifically how to record time entries, progress notes on cases, court updates on matters and cases, flat fees, and also record billable client expenses that you can then invoice. So once you're logged onto your Digitslaw account and you get to the dashboard, there are several ways you can record time. You can record time while you're working actively on the matter by clicking on Start Timer, and that would allow you to actually calculate accurately how much time you're spending on a case. So as you can see here, I've clicked on it and it is counting down or counting up the time being spent on a specific case. Once you're ready to record that time, you can click on stop and it would pull that time entry where you can then select the clients, the matter, what activity you're working on, and if it's billable, and log that into their account. Another way you can record time on the system is by clicking on time entries. You can also record time from the top bar here by clicking on create new time entry or new time entry here once you're in time entries. When you're in time entries, this allows you, by clicking on this allows you to enter in manually time that you have accrued outside of the platform and fill out the same information as previously mentioned. So here I'll give an example by just adding a manual time entry, but it's the same thing as you starting a timer and stopping it when you're ready to fill that information. So here I'll put in 10 hours, who the client is, and this will help you pull out which matter you're related to. You can pick an activity type. All the activity types here are all linked from your settings page where you have set up the different activities that your law firm works on. You can, if the time entry is billable, you can click on billable. If it's not billable, you just skip that and click on save. So let's say it's billable. Because this user already has user rates stored in your settings section, it will automatically pull that user rate. You can also modify the user rate as well. So as you can see, 10 hours at $100 per hour, that then comes up to $1,000. You can save. If you have multiple time entries you would like to record, you can click on save and add new. But here I'm just going to add in by clicking on save. Once you've done that, you can now see that time entry here for that specific client and the amount of time that is being spent and the rate at which is billable. When you're ready to bill that client, you can go to billing, invoice, and create the invoice there, which we'll show in a separate video. The next thing you can do for a specific client is, let's say you want to add some progress updates. So what are progress updates? There are two types of progress updates on Digitslaw. There's court updates if you're specifically going to court on behalf of that client. And then there's progress notes if you're just trying to write up a summary, either for the client or a summary from a meeting you attended with the client. This is a good way to sort of keep track of everything related to that case or matter for that client. So in this example, let's add in a progress note. Click on new progress notes, which you can also click on from the top menu bar like everything else. You can select the client. You could put a subject note related to that client. You can add specific notes about that meeting or specific notes around the progress that you want to save. If you want this to be sent to the client and notified on the client portal, you can select client portal. If you also want to send this to other team members, You can select which team members you would like to select this to as well. So let's go on and add some notes. Once you're done recording that, you can then save. And now you have those notes. You can also put in some court updates if you have court updates. Court updates, like I said, is for if you went to a court for a case for a client and you want to put notes afterwards. This is a great feature to have as well. Click on new court updates. You can also access it here. Select the client. You can also put in the suit number as well. The name of the court, who the judge was, if you have that information, and summary. You can also put in some client feedback if there are client feedback you received, what the hearing date was and what the next hearing date is. It's always good to put in your next hearing date if you have that information, so you can always pull and filter for reports based on what next hearing dates are coming up. You can put in some additional time, who attended and what the time, how long was spent on those cases or the courts. So we will now fill out this example. And now you've recorded that court updates. You can now see when the next one is, and to be able to filter that and track for which, if you have a lot of cases stored here, of courts upcoming hearing dates stored, you can then filter using the filter here to track what court upcoming dates are coming and how you can effectively manage to make sure that you are present for those court cases. So now everything is recorded. As you can see, because there was a court case as well, once you added in that court update and put in that information, it also creates a time entry for you as well. The next two things we'll show is how you can create expenses as well as how you can enter in flat fees. So flat fees are great for if you have a standard fee that you have for matters or activities that you do at your law firm. You can create a flat fee specifically for a client. To do that, you can click on the add flat fee, which I just clicked on, or you can click on it directly from here or even straight from the client's dashboard as well. You can record flat fees in different currencies. In this specific account, multi-currency is not enabled. That's why you can't change it. But if you wanted to, you have to make sure you set up multi-currency in your settings page. Once you've entered in a flat fee, you can choose taxes if you have taxes recorded or specific tax types recorded. To set up that, you can do that from your settings page as well. Make sure you mark if the flat fee is billable so you can bill that to the client. You can add in receipts if you had some receipts for that flat fee as well, and you can save. And so now that flat fee has now been recorded in account and is not billed yet. And so once you've billed it, you can then the system will automatically convert this to a billed flat fee. Last but not least is expenses. In the expenses here, you can add in or record client expenses that you can make billable, and also firm expenses so you can manage your operating costs as well. To record client expenses, similar to all the different entry points, you can do that from create new. You can also do that from new expense here, and also directly from the client dashboard. So let's click on new expense. It's a client expense. We'll pick the same client that we've been using, the same matter. You can also have it in multi-currency, but because this account has not been set up for multi-currency, it's currently fixed to the currency of the account. You can then select what expense type, enter in the fee for this expense. If you set up your expense types in your settings page, you could also have this rate automatically pulled from your settings page as well. Or you can modify the price as well. You can enter in taxes if you have taxes that you want to bill the client for. Enter in billable if it's a billable expense. If a payment has been made to that expense, you can record that here. If not, if it's not been paid at all, you can just save. If you have proof of that expense, you can also add it in here as well. Review it one more time and click on save. So now the expense has been created for your clients. It's not billed yet until you're ready to create an invoice. In the next video, we'll show you how to create an invoice once you have all this information. So now let's go to the client dashboard because we've been doing a lot of stuff for this specific client. In the client dashboard, you can now see that the information, there's a lot more billable amounts for the clients. We have 2 matters opened. We can see all the time was spent on the client. 100% of that time has been billable, which is great. In the matter section here, you can see all the matters that are open for that client. The expense which we had previously created for that client for a specific matter. All the progress notes that we've stored, both on the court update section. You can also see all the time entries that we recorded, both from the court attendance as well from opening up a matter for that client. The flat fee we also had for that client, and so on and so forth. And so the dashboard now becomes a central place that has all that information specific to that client, but you can also see everything related to your law firm as well here. You can see that as well from the matter dashboard. So if you click on matter, the specific matter for that same client, you can now see all the information related to that matter here, the invoices, the expenses, progress updates, similar to what we had seen from the client section. In the next video, we'll show you more on how to manage your practice from a financial standpoint, how to send invoices, requests, trusts from both the clients and third party, and manage your accounting.